What's going on, people? Part 2 of the live stream today. We're talking about yesterday's game that ended Forest 0, Arsenal 0. Lots to talk about. If you're new to our channel, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. And we are live on Facebook as well. So if you don't want to hit the like button, please do. Shout out to my sponsors as well, to Alan Hollis, Follow and Wise. If you want to know more about them, please in the link in the description. Right, we got a beautiful, a lazy, and a handsome person. People in the description find out who I'm talking about. I won't say he's handsome. He's more. He's very good looking. But you look, he's smirking. You can tell he's smirking in the bottom corner. Look at him.
I would have said. I thought you would have put me in the lazy bracket, Benjamin.
No, you're not lazy, Pat. You're never lazy to me, Pat.
Thank you.
I'm the lazy one. Just put and all that. Right, we've got the man himself, Pat. Lolly, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm feeling. Hang on. Just gone off the page, sorry. Feeling pretty good after yesterday. Great point.
Huge point, man. Huge point. Next up, we've got Katie from Trigger Talks. How you doing, Kate?
I am very good. Still in an excellent mood after yesterday.
Good. People, if you want to support Trigger Talks podcast as well, the link is in the description as well. Last but not least, he's not even Dave Asprey. He looks so different. I can't. This is not Dave. This is not Dave, man. How you doing, Dave?
Ben. Botox, mate.
Well, by himself, Dave. How you doing, Dave?
I'm really not very well, Ben, to be honest. I thought I'm just being a contrarian because Patrick's obviously lovely and Kate's obviously lovely and you're quite lovely. I'm not great.
Oh,
so
quite.
If I cough and splutter, let me apologise in advance. So I'm not feeling great, but that's a physiological thing. From a footballing point of view, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay.
So people in the chat, please show your love to everyone in the panel if you can. Like I said, people, we are going to talk about yesterday's game, the good and the bad, but I think it was positive yesterday. Like I said, we're drawn with the top of the league, and we can't complain at all. So people in the chat, get involved that we are going to talk about. But before we do, we've got shout out to Chelsea. She's a lovely person as well. So she's part of the Tricky Talks as well. So shout out to Chelsea and her dad. Mark, how you doing, my friend? Evening all panel. Another couple of unexpected results today. This league has been unturned. It's in the head. It is as well, my friend. It is as well. And another lovely lady as well. There's loads of females in the building today. Fab to see you, Mr. Dore, and a lovely Dave. What about these two? What part and Kate? Come on, go on. Shout out to Ian as well. We saw him before the game as well. So shout out to Ian as well. And last but not least, Eve. Good evening, Mr. Dore, Dave, Kate, and Pat. I hope you're well. I'm glad we got the point yesterday. I think we played well yesterday. I think we did, Eve. And I hope you're well as well. Right. Who we starting with? Should we start with you, Pat? Go on, Pat. Let's talk about what happened yesterday. What's your opinion?
I was hoping David said the league, but anyway, yesterday, I don't know. Everybody was incredibly skeptical. You know, Arsenal are looking like they're going to win the league at the moment, so they're coming after the set of results that we've had. Yeah, we had a good result against West Ham, but especially after the Wrexham game, everyone was feeling a little bit down. But for a change, I was quite optimistic. And you're thinking we're going into yesterday's game with last season's back four. Then you've got Elliot Anderson, who he missed the Wrexham game. He's had a 2-week break. You've got Sangare, who's came back after AFCON. So you're thinking, hang on a minute. I think we might be able to get something from today. And I was thinking we may get a draw. And it worked. I think it really did. And I just think with that lift, with that back four and then Sels, I thought had a great game as well. He pulled off some wieldy saves yesterday. It just gave me that little bit of optimism and that comfort going into the game, whereas normally you're thinking, we're struggling, because there's obviously other players that if you would have seen selected, you're going, we're going to struggle today. But yesterday I thought, no, Aina back as well, massive boost. So, yeah, I was feeling good going into it, Benjamin.
What about you, Kate? Do you feel the same as Pat or not?
I was absolutely terrified going into it.
Why am I the only one that wasn't terrified?
Because of who they are and where they are, and the set piece thing, like that was a massive worry for me, that we would hold them back, that we would be in the position that we were 0-0 or we've nicked something and then they absolutely smash us with a set piece. But I did lose that fear as the game went on, and I could see how well we were doing. And I think we also spoke a lot about the need for a performance, didn't we, before the game? Like a lot of Forest fans were saying we just need to see them perform. And actually we were all, weren't we? And that's what we were saying after the game. We need to see them play with heart. We need to see them play for the badge. And they absolutely did that yesterday. They absolutely did that. And they absolutely deserved that point. And you don't always get what you deserve in football. So I thought as a whole, from the team selection to the way that they played and the end result, I thought it was absolutely cracking.
Dave, what was your thoughts on the game?
Well, going in, I had a sort of a variety of emotions, really. One was gloom about West Ham's late winner at Tottenham, gloom about dynamic power pack Leeds beating Fulham late on, and then thinking, we're going up against the slightly runaway league leaders, the team that are the only team in the Champions League with a 100% record. And are we going to be good enough to stop ourselves losing some of the ground we made at the London Stadium? So I was a tad worried. A neutral could not have seen us winning, I don't think, yesterday. What was in our favour to me is that historically, it's not a happy hunting ground for Arsenal. They often come here on a roll, playing well, in good form, and they find the City ground a bit of an obstacle course. So I wasn't massively hopeful despite that. But you know what? If Wrexham was unacceptable to the badge, yesterday tea time was definitely acceptable to the badge. And my thought while I watched it go on was, pretty much our best 11 from last season is pretty much still our best 11 this season. And thank you, Ross Wilson, for putting that team together. There are people who haven't covered themselves in glory with some of the signings that have been made. We won't mention the name. So I looked at our lads and I looked at Matt Sels being Matt Sels again. Our back four being that back four that did such great credit last year. With somebody in that back four with huge personality that the others vibe off, right? I looked at our increasingly enlarging spider-like midfielder from the Ivory Coast back and making Declan... forcing Declan Rice into the margins.
I will talk about him later on.
Forcing Declan Rice into the margins. Elliot Anderson has had 2 weeks off with his feet up. Callum being Callum, and Morgan running his nuts off like he did at Wrexham when he almost single-handedly won us a game that we had no right really at one point to win it. So I walked out feeling a bit silly, thinking that, I'd gone into the game not particularly optimistic, and came out thinking, thank you, lads. That was a smashing effort. I was really proud of all of them. I see them all as nephews, and they did me proud. They did all of us proud. And I think the atmosphere walking out of the Trent End and out of the rest of the City ground last night was one like, if we can string enough of those performances together and honour the badge and honour the history and honour the messages our manager's putting out at the moment, we won't go far wrong.
Dave, right, let's follow up on the panel and the chat as well. We're talking about Sangare, right? Because like I said, I put my hands up towards it, and I've not been impressed with him. But since Sean Dyche has come in, I think we've got to praise him because everyone has opinion about Sean Dyche, and some people are in and some people are out. But I think Sean Dyche has got the best of Sangare for all the managers that we've had in. I don't know if people in the panel agree or disagree on it. Pat, do you agree on that Dyche has got the best out of Sangare?
I think so, yeah. But I think what's informed that is he's had a great run of games.
Yeah.
Because he's had some rotten luck over the past couple of years. Sangare has. And I feel like luck's been on his side so far. Touch wood, that long may that continue. But he's just been since that Tottenham game at home. Boy, have we missed him. Massive. And it was up until he left, you're kind of thinking, wow, he's vital to us. He's incredibly important. So that was massive to have him back yesterday. And I just think it brings a calmness as well. It's just, you could see at points things were kind of going, not too frantic, but you could see things going a certain way. He'd just get control of the ball, and he'd just take his time, and he would instill a calmness and a reassurance about things. And it's just great. You feel confident when it's on the ball.
What about you, Kate? Anything?
Well, I was just going to say that, and credit to him really for that calmness, because he must have felt a little bit of pressure coming back, because he left on a high. You know, he was the best he's ever been for us, and getting all the plaudits as he should have done at that point. And then he's whisked off to AFCON. We have a dip in form, and everybody's going, we need Sangare back. We need Sangare back. And he's back, and he's straight into the team against Arsenal. You know, that is a lot to ask. And yet he absolutely oozed calmness, and actually his role enabled a lot of the other players to be the players that they need to be and want to be, to make them their best selves as well.
Yeah.
And he just literally just kind of went, yeah, okay, step back into that. I do that. That's what I do. And you got to love him for it, because it could have been a total disaster, couldn't it? He could have come back and everybody had gone, oh my God, what's happened to him at AFCON? And actually he was great. Absolutely spot on.
Dave, do you echo on what Pat or Kit said?
I do. I think with Ibra, I've always had this sort of empathy and sympathy for Ibra, because, as Pat said, his look has been really awful. You know, he went off to play for his country, something he would have absolutely loved doing, as we all would, you know, in an AFCON. And he came back, the poor lad. Okay, they won the tournament 2 years ago, but he came back with malaria. Now, I'm no medic, no consultant, but I would imagine malaria is a really difficult thing to shake off, you know, and I think it's taken him a while to shake it off. I think what's telling about Ibrahim Sangare is that whenever you've seen over the last 2 years, you know, squad gatherings, whether it's at training or whatever else, you know, while the fans have been saying this guy's not good enough and all this kind of stuff, I don't think the squad around Ibrahim Sangare has ever lost faith in him. And I think he comes across to me as being incredibly popular within the group. And I think, you know, in the situation that we're in, where, you know, character is going to have to come to the fore, I think that's really important. I think in terms of, I think the Tottenham game was really good for Ibra, as it was. I mean, it was good for all of us, wasn't it? Really, it's a fantastic occasion. But I go back to the 0-0 draw in Graz, and it struck me straight after the game that Sean was on the pitch, and he mentioned Ibra by name. And when he mentioned Ibra by name, I was kind of thinking to myself, yeah, at Everton you had Abdoulaye Doucouré, who for a while was, you know, not getting the recognition he required, and yet he became crucial to Everton. He scored the goal on the last day of the season against Bournemouth, that, you know, late in injury time, that kept Everton in the Premier League. And I think that Sean Dyche likes that kind of player. So when it was Doucouré at Everton, it's now Ibra here. And I think the best thing that I could say about his performance yesterday was I don't think he was massively outstanding. I don't really think there was an outstanding player in the game from either side, to be honest with you. Maybe apart from Mats. Mats was probably the guy who deserved it. I thought Elliott played well, but Mats deserved it. But the stuff about Ibra, I only noticed what Ibra did as I was walking out of the stadium, and I reflected on the game as I sort of drove home or sat at home last night and watched on the telly. And he kind of, he filled that gap. He was a sort of the mortar between the bricks, you know. And I just think, you know, Kate's point about the sort of the composure he's now showing, added to a little bit of extra zip in his play and that sharpness that, you know, is there now. I just think he kind of just knitted it all together. And, you know, if we're to kind of hopefully move up the table, catch some of the others and get into that bracket where we'd like to be, I think he's going to be crucial, you know. And it's just after, you know, seeing a lad suffer for a while and not be where he wanted to be, it's just really nice. It's a nice human story to see the guy, you know, now feeling like a proper Nottingham Forest player, you know. I think he's an example to some of those who have recently come in and can't seem to assert themselves as Nottingham Forest players. You know, a lot of them had the chance at Wrexham and just didn't do it. And I'd be looking at Ibrahim Sangare saying, well, if he can do it after what he's gone through, why can't you do it? So I'm really proud of Ibra, and I think a lot was made of him being away, and I thought maybe a bit too much of him being away was made of him being away. But I think yesterday it proved that he's a crucial part of our team.
I think we said, Dave, that there wasn't much players that really stood out. And that's just the part. And people in the chat as well. I still feel Dominguez again, even if he did play left wing, again, he stood out so much playing left wing, coming inside. Pat, what was your opinion on Dominguez? Because
I think sorry, say that last bit again.
I think he's getting better and better in this Dutch team.
Yeah, I think so too. His work rate is so good. The past few games, you just noticed he's just getting everywhere. It's just he's almost like a little pest.
Yeah,
he's just
and that's what we need, don't we?
Yes, and I think as well with I think we kind of missed out. When you Yatesy on, and you'd have that little pest or that nuisance. But I just think Dominguez has a little bit more flair and a bit more, as Dave said, to use the word zip. Just to make things happen and cause the opposition more problems. But I think it's been great, to be honest.
Another player that I want to talk about, and I thought he was my man of the match, Matt Sels. 2 great saves. And he's come back in the team to replace Victor. Kate, what do you think about Matt Sels yesterday? And people in the chat as well, get involved about Matt Sels.
Yeah, walking out the ground, he was my man of the match yesterday. And I haven't seen anything that tells me otherwise. There's been a lot of talk about Elliot Anderson, hasn't there? And I take that, and actually doing a watch back, I can see a little bit more why people are saying that. But for me, absolutely Matt Sels. And I was quite critical of him. I was a little bit hard on him after the Wrexham game, because I did feel in that game at times, and certainly in the shootout, he did seem to be a bit of a shadow of his former self. But he absolutely bossed it yesterday. And some of those saves, again, in the ground, you knew they were great, but you had that sense of, oh, thank God for that about them as well. But watching them back, some of them are absolutely incredible saves. And, we've always known that he's a shot stopper, but that we saw yesterday and those saves that we saw yesterday, that's your Golden Gloves keeper that we had last season. And whatever it is, whatever the formula is that's made that happen, then let's bottle that and let's give him a shot at that before every game now, please. And I know that there are people that are saying that they're shot windowing. A lot of them are shot windowing because it's Arsenal. And whether or not there is anything to that, I don't know. I can understand it. But whatever it is, yeah, absolutely loved him yesterday. Fantastic.
Can I just say,
yeah,
rewatch the Saka save. It's out of this world, because there's another factor that gets into the equation. And that is Moo jumping in front of him to try and clear it. So the ball, Saka gets up, for a little guy, Saka gets up the far. It's a brilliant header. And as it's coming towards Mats's eye line must have been taken with what Murillo, who was everywhere, I thought yesterday, bless him, for good or for ill, got in his way. And then to just have that composure to tip it away, I just thought it was a magnificent save. And I just got the feeling with Mats and the others, it was like everything that worked so well last season. It was almost like a feeling of, you know what, lads, we've got the band back together, haven't we? And it just felt like that to me yesterday. It felt like we'd gone back, 12 months almost to when we were having that phenomenal run around Christmas last year, where we were in that frame of mind that we take all comers. It doesn't matter who they are, big or small, we'll take them all on. And there was a bit of that yesterday. And I mean, I don't think it was a spectacular performance, but from a sort of a grit, character and family spirit point of view, I think it was a really good performance, you know what I mean? And I was just glad walking out the ground that everybody seemed to acknowledge what had gone on. I mean, it's a clean sheet against the league leaders. And that, that is not to be sniffed at all. So, but Sels,
the second team to do it, I think, aren't we? This season?
Yeah, second team.
Stop Arsenal from scoring.
Yeah, second team. Alisson, the Liverpool goalkeeper as well, has kept a clean sheet. So, I think, like I said, when you look at back, like I said, it's a great point. We can't. If everyone complains about if we played crap or not, we kept a clean sheet.
Yeah, I think you're doing them a disservice there, Dave. I really do. I think it was a good performance. I think we had to be. You know, I think actually playing with grit and heart is exactly what we want as Forest fans, you know. And actually, I think we would have been maybe a little bit annoyed, a little bit frustrated if they'd started doing, you know, tricks and flicks and I don't know, showboating and then ended up losing things. You know, this is what we've asked of them. We've asked of them, and this is apparently what Dyche is asking of them, to do the fundamentals and to do them well and to play for the badge. And they did. And I tell you what, everything they did yesterday, they did it 100%. And literally, what more can you ask of them than that?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think maybe, you know, when we come to look back, Wrexham might actually be a really good thing.
Yeah, keep on
and it's not a weird thing to say. I mean, to be honest, but that's part of my cynicism about the FA Cup. I looked at the FA Cup third round last week, and I saw as many teams happy to be out of it as to be in it. You know, you could easily have had you could have killed the whole thing by having Oliver Glasner coming out after the Macclesfield game saying, "I'd like to thank Macclesfield for clearing our fixture congestion away." If you want to know about the FA Cup, look at the highlights of Sheffield United, Mansfield Town.
Yeah.
Where the only people in Bramall Lane were Mansfield Town supporters. That's the FA Cup for you. I think it's not the world's greatest cup competition anymore. But I do think the Wrexham thing and Sean's reaction to it might actually be a really good thing for us in the weeks to come, you know.
I think to go back,
Right.
so Kate was talking about the grit and the determination. I think what summarised that perfectly was towards, I can't remember at what point, it was the latter part of the game. And it was towards the Bridgeford end. I think it was Arsenal's Jesus had the ball, and Elliot Anderson went in for a tackle and absolutely steamrolled him. And it's almost like the majority of the stadium was like, "Come on!" And it was one of those moments which showed that grit and determination. It was almost it was just that let's have it moment. And I tell you what, it was. I'm not going to swear, but it was great.
And Pat,
yes,
Murillo recovering from his mistake against Mediocres.
Oh,
huge.
Right. Which, when Moo ran back, Moo was basically running towards where I was sat. If he'd not known, he'd have run through me and out the back into the river, right? Because he was at such a speed. And he got back and took it off Gyökeres, and that was a similar thing to me. So, yeah, it was.
When he'd lost it, when he'd lost the ball, where he lost it, that was a hand-on-head moment. You're thinking, he's through here.
Yeah.
I remember reading something, actually, it might have been late last night or this morning, and an Arsenal fan had said he was getting on Gyökeres' back, quite unfairly, I thought. And he was saying he had a 10-yard advantage on Murillo, and he still couldn't score. And I'm like, it's nowhere near 10 yards.
Nowhere near 10 yards.
I'd say 3, 4 at a stretch.
No, but Pat, he is rubbish though. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't notice him after 35 minutes. If I'm honest, I didn't recognise him at all. I thought he was rubbish. You think he's good?
Gyökeres?
Yeah.
Would you have him playing for Forest up front?
Yeah, because it's different. It's different mentality. Because they're going for the league. We're trying to be.
But also, I think I wouldn't say he's rubbish, but I would.
No. I think he's rubbish for Arsenal.
I think in this instance, I would give our defenders more credit that they kept him quiet and stopped him doing from what he does.
100%. I get that, but I'm trying to say for our Arsenal team, I just don't think he's right for that system. I think he'd be great for us. I think he'd be fantastic for us. Huh?
Who cares?
I know.
I tell you what, Nico saw off Martinelli.
The next one.
It was Nico and Madueke. Madueke early on was a problem, but Nico dealt with him. With Martinelli.
I agree, Dave. If Arteta had started with Saka, I think you can see when he come on the amount of problems that he was causing us. A lot more than Martinelli, I thought. Glad to not see his name on the starting 11.
I thought Nico Williams was fantastic. Don't mention it to Kate. She loved Nico and all that. I thought Nico Williams was fantastic. I remember, was it the Blackpool away? He was awful. And now look what's happened since then.
Which one? We've been awful at Blackpool away a few times, Ben.
When we lost
No, not that year of the championship when we were amazing at Blackpool. That was good.
FA Cup, Pat, 4-1.
Yeah, I was
Like,
there.
yeah, that one. When he was awful. He was awful. He was
That
awful.
was hang on. Sam Surridge and Emmanuel Dennis up front.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one.
Scarpa
And
played.
Gustavo Scarpa played. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and that was Scarpa's best game, and now we don't know where Scarpa is. So
He's playing with some Rubik's cubes somewhere.
He was skateboarding that day.
Skateboarding, yeah.
People, please hit like button, subscribe if you know. We've been linked with a striker. Where is it? I let people in the comments, if you watch Italian football, I don't know nothing about this guy. I spoke to Lee Tilson, and I think he's the fourth choice at Napoli.
Green goal in 19 games. If you Google him and look at the stats, sounds perfect.
I spoke to Lee Tilson. He's the fourth choice at Napoli. And he's behind Haaland, Haaland,
Lukaku,
someone else, and him. I don't know enough about him. So if any Italian fans who know about this guy, I don't know who he is. But like I said, the reason I got him up because I'm asking you, Pat. Like I feel sorry for Igor Jesus. I feel sorry for him.
Yeah. Well,
he works so hard, man.
Me and my nephew, who's watching now, by the way, Connor, Stevie, and Steve. Big shout to you guys. But me and Connor was having a debate on the way back, and he's not a fan of his at all. And he was just, doesn't think he's the man to score us the goals. I said, I hear what you're saying, but tell me how many clear-cut chances has he had? What kind of service is he getting? He's getting no service. There's a lot of people online as well that are giving Eagle a lot of stick, which is unfair. He's had no clear-cut chances. Well, he's had one or two, but he's not had enough. The service, there's certain points you look at the game and you think the guy's isolated on his own. Who likes pizza? Dave?
I think it's an Italian reference.
Ah, okay. So, yeah, I just think it's incredibly unfair. And I think if he got more service, or maybe if he was playing in a different system, because you might see, I think, more of his attributes. Do you remember when we played Palace away and he came on? And he made Mark Gahey look pretty ordinary, didn't he? And it smashed it off the bar. In a counter-attacking side, that was under Nuno. So, yeah, maybe he was bought for that system. We don't know.
I think we've talked about Sangare and how long he's needed to get to where he is now. We've even mentioned Nico, okay, although I would dispute that he's ever been anything other than awesome. And it's the same with Jesus, okay? I don't think when he was brought in, the expectation was that he would become our first choice, has to play every game straight off the back into the Premier League, in at the deep end, off you go, son, go and score a boatload of goals. I don't think that was the plan for him. Circumstances have dictated that has become his reality. The good things about him, you've already listed. We've spoken a lot about his hold-up play. We've spoken a lot about his work ethic. All of those things are great. I just don't think he's quite cooked yet. And I hope we stick with him. And I hope that he becomes the player that I think he can be in a Forest shirt. He needs some help. He absolutely does. And let's hope that's incoming in January. But one thing I will say about him, say what you like about how many goals he's got, and it's not enough. We do need more. I don't like it when we bring him off. So there's something there.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I just sorry, I know you're about to speak, Dave. I'm just going to quickly jump in. Do you think that was a statement by Deitch yesterday, putting Dan and Dore up front? What do you think the reasoning was behind that?
You know what it is, Dave? You know when you watch when managers basically, when managers moan about the board, like he's like every time you mention a board, you get sacked. So I think basically he's just saying, I need a striker. Get me one now because I don't want to slag off Taiwo because he's done so much for us. He doesn't trust Taiwo. That's it. And I think with Dan and Dore,
let's be honest. I think Taiwo's better years, are behind him. Unfortunately,
yeah. But I think to be fair, when Dan and Dore come on, I think he did all right. If I'm honest, he paceful in front of the two centre backs, but I think he did all right. But I think that it was a statement. I need a striker, and bringing this guy in, like we can't judge, but
he didn't really come on as a striker, though, did he? He came on as an outlet when we were a little bit.
Yeah, it felt like he also packed out the midfield a bit.
Just on Igor Jesus, I don't think anybody in our squad at the moment has got a more thankless task than him.
Yeah.
The poor lad. If I was the manager of Forest, I'd be taking him on one side and just saying, look, what you do, we really appreciate, because the big man's out at the moment. There isn't anybody, I don't think, in this squad at the moment, the options that we've got that can do what you're having to do for us at the moment. And I just keep telling him, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. Your reward will come. And, you know, every week, I mean, the Everton game, when he was up against O'Brien and Tarkowski, it's like he must have felt battered at the end of that game. And I think he's had that at Wolves that night against Agbadou and Totti. They're big lads, you know. And I think he's coming along nicely. He's not the finished article for us yet, but I actually think maybe in the fullness of time, of the slew of signings that have been made, he might actually end up being the one who has the most permanent impact at the club. I mean, if you think yesterday, the starting 11 was essentially Nuno's and Ross Wilson's team. Who was the only new face in it? It was Igor Jesus. And I think he will flourish eventually. I think you might have to change the formation, because I think he'd be really good off a big target man. I can imagine him playing with somebody like Strand Larsen up front, taking the first knock and playing in and around. Or I think, playing with Woody, if Chris was fit, I think the two of them as a combination would be really useful, because I think he's more of a fox in the box kind of player rather than a back to goal, sticking his backside into a centre half and then trying to bring everybody else in. At the moment, our problem at the moment is we can't see him on a consistent basis to get guys beyond him. So a lot of his flick-ons and his headers that he's absolutely contorting himself to bring about against big opponents, we're not actually helping him. You know what I mean? I think it's I'm sure that
I agree, Dave, completely. There's a lot of comparisons with him and Chris Wood, and you've got to bear in mind, a lot of the people who are comparing him to Chris Wood, he had Elanga's assists.
Yeah.
What did he get last year? 20 plus?
20, I think.
Altogether was with a goals and assists, 19 altogether. So that's what we're missing.
Commendable.
You know what it is? We're missing pace. You need to remember, only two people left from last year's club.
Here's one for you.
Huh?
Did you take Elanga on loan this month from Newcastle?
100%.
Yeah. When you've got somebody who's an essentially Olympic almost sprinter, that kind of pace, any pace in any sport, whether it's cricket, rugby, NFL, you name it, then, you've got something, I think, and I actually think, and I said it before, and I think that Anthony defined our style of play last year because we like I say, we were revolutionary. You have the ball, we don't want it. And then when we do eventually get it, we'll use this speed merchant, this road runner, to belt up the pitch and knock over the coyote. Do you know what I mean? And I just think that Anthony allowed us to do that last year.
I think we've lost our identity a little bit. We've not replaced that pace.
You know what, Pat?
I agree, Pat.
I said that 2 weeks ago. We lost our identity when we lost to
Everton.
Yeah, Everton. Who did we play before Wrexham? Before West Ham.
Villa.
Yeah. For the first half, I thought we lost our identity.
I thought Chris Hughton was in the dugout that day. It was awful.
So did we get it back last night? Didn't you think we got it back last night? Because I thought we did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we did.
It looked like a Forest game.
I just think, though.
And by the second half, it had become infectious, hadn't it? You know, what you said earlier, Pat. As a fan base, we feed off them, they feed off us. The first half, it was okay, but it wasn't absolutely bouncing. But once we saw them dig in and do what we wanted of them, then we were up, then we were singing, and then they absolutely knew that we were there. And again, that's something else I've been saying has been lacking, you know, but it has to be a two-way thing. It's a relationship. We feed off them, they feed off us.
Absolutely. There was one point when Yatesy was warming up, as from where I sit in the lower Trent near the corner flag, and you could see he's come with the corner flag and he's warming up. And it was that, I think it was Forest and Magic on off the pitch, and it was like everybody was up clapping because Yatesy had come over and he just stood there and he was just like, she see the smile on his face.
Yeah.
Just soaking it in. And it was like,
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
you could feel that filtering around the entire stadium. And I think as well, for a player to stand and stop and take it in awe, you're kind of thinking, I also think that's what's been missing. And then there is that balance of, well, if the players, like Kate was just touching on, if the players do a bit, then, you know, we'll support you. Just commit, give us something to cheer about. But I thought we captured that, which was so intimidating for opposing teams over the previous seasons, which is missing.
And it carried on after the game when Daichi popped Martin Keown in a little bag and threw him into the way of it.
Yeah, that was amazing. Amazing.
That was Sean. I think, I thought Sean dealt with that brilliantly. He was like a powerful school teacher putting an errant child in the naughty corner, and I loved it.
You know what, Dave?
The arrogance of Martin Keown, you know, and Sean went, it's almost like, hey, mate, you're standing on sacred Nottingham turf here. Don't say that. And I loved it.
You know what? While we talk about Dyche, people, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you know. Anyone on the panel, like, we're halfway through the season now, and what's everyone's verdict on Dyche? Because, like I said, we've had good, we've had bad. Players have been great, players have been crap. Anyone on the panel will start with Dyche. How are they feeling about Dyche? And people in the chat as well. How are you feeling about Dyche? I know, like, yesterday was fantastic with a point against Arsenal, but anyone who wants to start? Kate, what do you think about Dyche so far?
I feel much like everything else about this season, he's a work in progress, isn't he? You know, I think we love him for the nostalgia of Dyche, Stone and Wone. We love him for post-match interviews like he did yesterday, and absolutely, you know, off the back of a great performance. We have made progress under him. There's no denying that, you know. Okay, so we're it's not 7 points anymore, is it? 4 points? Five points. Okay. I believe that Sean Dyche will be our manager until the end of the season. Whether or not he is given next season, a pre-season, a shot at keeping his job, will entirely depend on where we finish and how far we go in the Europa League, because it's Marinakis, and we know that about him. I think we said when he came in, the expectation was that Dyche will keep us up. I would say we are on track for that at the moment. We knew that there were going to be games that weren't pretty. Going back to that Villa game, I did not like that. I don't want to see that. That didn't do it for me. Would I have been saying the same if we'd have got something from it? I don't know, because we didn't. But I just don't feel like it's. I just don't feel like it's a question at the moment. He's going to be our manager until the end of the season, and the only thing we can do is get behind him, enjoy the nostalgia, enjoy the good moments. And yeah, let's be honest, guys, we've got behind a lot worse over the years than Sean Dyche. So, I mean, we're Forest and it's modern day, so the question's always going to be battered about, isn't it? But for me, for now, yeah, very much Dyche in. Dyche is our man. He's our man till the end of the season. We back him, and I believe he'll keep us up. I hope for a really good night on Thursday that will move us a bit further forward in Europa. But yeah, infamy.
How are you feeling, Pat? I see Pat's face is a bit
pensive. I think he's a pit stop. I think he's in to do one job, and that's to like Kate said, to keep us in the Premier League. I do not think he's the man to help this club evolve after this season and have us playing more outgoing, whether you want to call it outgoing, free-flowing, attacking, attractive football. Can you see us climbing up the table and asking questions of the top 10 with a Dyche? I mean, when you come in, you're thinking this is the best squad he's ever had, by the way, which everybody keeps saying, and I'm going to say it again. And you would think that I would hope that we would have been further up the table by now. If you look at, again, you know, we seem to play better against Liverpool, Arsenal, City game. I thought we put in a great performance, but then when we're playing the Fulhams and the Evertons of this world, we look really stuck and completely void of any ideas at all of a plan B. So you're kind of looking and you're thinking, I don't know. But for me, he's a pit stop till the end of the season. That's what I think. I think if he was going to be at the beginning of the next season, I think the majority of the fan base wouldn't be over the moon with it. I would be looking at Marco Silva.
Please come on, man.
Hang on. What?
I had this argument. No, we had a discussion with a Forest fan. He's watching this as well.
Ben, you could have an argument with yourself in a phone box.
Yeah,
I've seen him do it.
I didn't win.
That's not good, Cat.
No. I'm just saying, what has Silva done in the Premier League? He's managed 4 clubs.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
And that's my argument. Like, Alan, I spoke to Alan yesterday because I wasn't happy with him because the Leeds beat him. I said to him, do you want to win a trophy with Silva? He went, yeah, but he hasn't. But if he's coming to Forest, I know he's going to get more. He's got more money to spend and everything. He's worked with Mr. Maunekis at Olympiakos. But I just don't know.
Well, I mean, that's one of the options. Glasner will probably want a Champions League club.
He went for Forest.
Areola will probably want a Champions League club. There's rumours about him going to City. But I'm not sure. I just don't think yet. Again, to touch on what Kate said, the nostalgia about Dyche being in the Rolling Stone, and it kind of relives the 90s, and 90s shirt sales will probably go up a little bit, and it's great. Everybody feels good. But I just don't see. I mean, even if you look at his substitutions are very questionable.
Look, right. This is a comment. Dyche did a better job than Silva at Everton.
That's a fair point. I'm just saying.
People, and this is what I say about the Silva people. He did a better job at Everton. Like I said, if Silva ever comes to Forest,
I'm not saying Silva's my number one choice. Yes. It was previously.
Pat, don't lie. Don't lie. You wanted him. Remember that discussion we had?
We've had many, sweetheart.
Yeah, many. We've had so many conversations about this, but
what you said, Pat, about what is our plan against Everton, that isn't Dyche specific. I mean, it is at the moment because he's our manager.
No, I mean, putting in
just very Forest, isn't it?
Putting in 52 crosses into a striker who's 5'10" against 2 6'5" plus defenders for 90 minutes. At some point, you get to the half time and you go, "It's not working, this lads. I need to change it up a little bit."
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. I was at those games. I felt the frustration. I felt the horror at times. Absolutely did. I just think he's our man till the end of the season. And
I agree.
The only way that he's staying next year is if he does something spectacular. Okay.
Well,
and that would be, I suppose, winning the Europa, or at least getting to the final of the Europa.
Yeah.
Then maybe you've got an argument. I don't think we're going to have a meteoric rise up the table. I think we might go up a couple of places if we're lucky. And consistency is still lacking. We're all bouncing off the back of the Arsenal game and saying this is the performance that we need. We've said this before this season. We've said this before over many seasons. That he's a work in progress. He's not the finished article. But what you've got to ask yourself, what you've always got to ask yourself, and the mistake that we made or the mistake that was made, not necessarily that we made with Nuno, is you got to look for better. You got to find me better than what we've got. Dyche isn't perfect. Absolutely not. There's a lot of very, very valid criticism that you can level at him. Find better.
Dave,
If it's the owner, I would do. But if we also lose to Brentford next week, that point yesterday, I think it doesn't really make it worth a lot. I think we have to get something from Brentford. I know Dave's going to disagree with me on that one.
Oh, you know what? I've just been waiting for, like, with Kate and Pat been saying, I'm just waiting for Dave to say something. He said, he's always got something in his head.
Come on, Dave.
Come on, Dave.
You're
in
up.
my era, there was a band called the Tremolos who had a wonderful hit single called "Silence is Golden, Golden." Dyche is here to the end of the season, right? What happens beyond that threshold, I cannot tell you. That will be predicated on a review that will probably take place after the last game against Bournemouth. And then that will decide, you know, we'll know then where we are in the scheme of things, and that will decide the next step. I think if we were, I've seen some Dyche out stuff, I've heard some Dyche out stuff, and I'm thinking if you want a fourth manager in one season, go right ahead, because that, and there was a point made by somebody in one of the comments that, you know, he inherited a mess, and it was an unbelievable mess when he came in. We just had, you know, one of the worst managerial appointments we're ever likely to have, and we've had some bad ones. Let's say that. And it was, you know, it really irritated me. It got me down because I kind of, you know, leading into the season, the pre-season looked a good one. It looked calm. Everything was stable. Okay, we tailed off a little bit at the end of last season, but we got into Europe. There was lots to look forward to. In fact, there was so much. I don't think there'd been a more anticipated season for Nottingham Forest for a long, long time. Europe for the first time in 30 years. You know what I mean? I never thought I'd say that. I never thought I'd ever say that when we were bottom of the Championship and going to Huddersfield under Reedy and Warren Joyce, you know. So the incredible movement, you know, up the pecking order from our club, right? And then 2 days before the season starts, we get this press conference like a hideous asteroid out of the blue where my relationship with the owner is terrible. And I'm like, and then it started, and you've got these power plays off the field of play. And I've looked at our squad and our lads, and I felt really sorry for them. They've been pulled from pillar to post, not knowing what the structure is. You know, it's all been thrown up in the air. You know, I personally think the Edu appointment is the one that sort of kiboshed everything from that point onwards.
You said you weren't going to mention any names, Dave.
Sorry, I'm going to get in there. Edu, I didn't, and he won't.
Much ado about nothing.
You know, it's just we spent, me and Pat one night last week, we spent about half an hour on WhatsApp coming up with Edu name jokes, and it was like sort of countdown crossed with 8 out of 10 cats crossed with Call My Bluff one back in the day. You know what I mean? Stuff that Dore wouldn't understand, obviously. So, but the thing is, the point that was made earlier by the person in the comments is that Sean picked up a shambles. And the essential point to me is, and Kate, I think Kate just pointed it out, is we are better now than we were then. We are inconsistent, but I think we were always going to. And I'm not being, you know, wise after the event, but I kind of saw this inconsistency coming, because of the extra workload, the extra demands, the stretching of the squad over those different demands. And I thought, you know, if we'd been consistent this season, given that all the fronts we're fighting on, it would have been a phenomenal achievement, you know. So I think with Sean, I mean, I like the guy. I think he's a really good guy. The Woney Stoney thing, you know, it took in nostalgia. I've supported Nottingham Forest for decades now, and it's good to have somebody who feels like part of the family, looking after the family. You know, he's kind of like Michael Corleone taking over the Gambino family, whatever, you know what I mean, in The Godfather. He's sort of risen to the top, Sean has. But whether he's here next season, I don't know, because I think that will depend on what Mr. Marinakis and his team view as being an acceptable objective next year. And they might look at it and think, Sean, Ian and Steve aren't the guys for this. We're going to go and get somebody else. My one worry is where to go and find another manager, because I don't think there are any great managers at the moment. I don't think that. I think Guardiola's dropped off a cliff. Arne Slot's dropped off a cliff. I look around and I just see managers as being 3 or 4 month scapegoats. Get them in, slag them off, send them on their way. You know, I don't think Amorim came in. He was going to be the great thing. His career's ruined. Ten Hag, the great thing, came in. Career ruined. I just see lots of managers at the moment. I mean, I thought Emery was bomb-proof. I've just watched Villa being really awful against Everton. In many ways, Moyes is the most bomb-proof at the moment, and everybody sees him as a Dyche-like dinosaur. I actually don't think there is not a great football manager on this planet at the moment. I don't think there's one. We're lucky, or we've been lucky in the past. We have the greatest that there will ever be. And there's nobody to get anywhere near a guy like that, or the Matt Busby, or the Bill Shankly, or the Jock Steves. There aren't any managers. They're just basically patsies who come in, organise the team for a bit, and then when the inevitable of a defeat comes, they have to pay the price. Honestly, I just love what you just said. I look at Liam Rosenior at Chelsea. He'll have a couple of defeats. They'll be wanting him out, right? Yeah. Michael Carrick, if he loses his next game, everything yesterday will be forgotten, and they'll want him out. Thomas
the Frank engine getting on at Spurs.
Has he gone yet?
Well, he should never have taken that job.
No, I want him to stay. He's doing a great job.
Yeah.
That job should be boycotted. I think Tottenham's YouTubers should run it. Right? Because if you're a manager, do you want to commit career suicide by going to Tottenham Hotspur? No. I mean, I'll give you the worst one of the lot. Arteta is 7 points clear at the top of the league, and half of that fan base, after drawing with us yesterday, wanted him out. A guy who's 7 points clear at the top. You know, so I think managers, there'll come a time where there are no managers. They're just scapegoats. They're not managers. 100%. And I just think these guys can't get on with the job, you know. Coming back to the original point, Dyche to the end of the season, because we just cannot have another manager.
100%. I think what Dave just said, I think I've got to clip that. I loved what you just said, Dave. Even Pat's smiling. I've never seen a smile say good, Pat. To end the show, like I said, we've got Bragg on Thursday night. Myself, my travel away partner, Dave, Kate.
Hello.
I wish Pat would go. Pat, you let me down, Pat, man.
I'm carrying him in my heart and my land luggage.
Why you come to away day, Pat, man? Why you come to away day, Pat, man?
Thank you, love.
Was that to me?
No, that was for Lord Asprey.
Oh, great. I regret we're seeing that now. I've got Bragg now, and should we we've got to win these games, because I don't want to play off. I don't want to be in the playoffs. So I'm gonna ask you, Kate, what's your opinion on Bragg? Should we just go? Do we need to win it, or is Premier League more important?
I think Europa League's important for a lot of reasons. I think it's important to the fans to feel some success. I think it's important to the management team because, as previously discussed, that's an opportunity for them to say, look what we did, here you go. I absolutely want to win this game. Absolutely do. And I hope we go with a strong team, and I hope we really take it to them. That's definitely my hope. I don't think it's a given. I don't think they're going to make it easy for us. So what are they? So they're 7th, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're drawn 1-1 today.
Yeah, I think they were certainly playing this evening in their league. I think they are. Well, they were
1-0. The 1-1-0.
1-0. Okay, so they were 5th. So whether that's put them up a little bit, I don't know. I know they've got a striker that can score some goals because I was having a little look at who they are and what they do earlier today.
What's his name? He's played for Wolves. Portuguese centre midfielder.
João Moutinho.
Yeah, got him.
Yeah.
So he's
okay. So I don't think anything's a given. I think just like any other game. We've got to go there. We've got to show up. We've got to work hard, and I hope that we do. I'm looking forward to a magical night in Portugal on Thursday, and that's absolutely what I hope we have. And no, I don't think we sack off the Europa League and focus on the Premier League. We have it in us to do both. We have to try on both fronts until we can't anymore. So that's what I think.
Pat, how are you feeling about it?
I think he'll go for a completely not completely different, but I think he'll be probably looking at players coming back from fitness, getting more minutes. I think Thursday. I think Yatesy might start.
I hope he does. Him and Sangare. I won't even play. I'll play Anson, but him and Sangare in the midfield.
I'm incredibly disheartened by how the McAtee saga has unfolded. I was hoping so much more from him. Yeah, there's been opportunities where you think. I just thought if you look at Wrexham, you're like, right, he's going to boss it. You know, he should do with somebody of his talent. But it's just not working out for him. And it's these games. Go back to the Braga game. It's these kind of games where you would be looking at players like that who are not starting every week to really shine, and it's just not happening for him. So, would he start Thursday?
Even Bakker was on the bench yesterday. So
No, I wouldn't start him Thursday. No,
he was disappointing as well against Wrexham.
Me personally, I wouldn't. I think we're going to go for a strong team. We've got to win this game. We've got to win this game out. So I won't play. I might rest one or two, but I think we still need to go for this game.
Bringing Yates in isn't weakening, but
it's not. But I still feel we need to win this game.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
we need to win every game we can get our hands on.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know. Maybe
we talked about inconsistency. Consistency comes from winning games and making it a habit.
Yeah.
And I mean, Pat, you've touched on McAtee. Me and you, mate, we've talked about McAtee. I think the biggest disappointment for me this season is James McAtee. And I've been, it'll come, sympathy, empathy. But at Wrexham, I saw him with the same look on his face that Harry Arter had when he came, a guy who clearly didn't want to be at our club and who basically disrespected our club. And I thought with James McAtee, sorry, son, go and train with the under-16s. In fact, he wouldn't get in our B team at the moment because they've won 10 on the bounce, I believe.
But
so some of those kids, maybe some of those kids are looking at the signings and thinking, if Dylan Bakwan can get in, or James McAtee can get in, or Alexander, whatever his name, Chenko.
He's left, Dave. He's leaving.
Yeah, he's off to Ajax.
He's got Ajax.
You know, some of those kids in the B team might think, I can make a strike for getting somewhere there. But McAtee, I actually think Dyche's anger after Wrexham, I worried after Wrexham what Sean would say, whether he would flood the airwaves with platitudes and, oh, it wasn't that bad and, and all this. But he didn't. And I was really pleased he came out. And he goes, he had no alternative. Half time at the racecourse, when people were leaning over the tunnel to tell them what they thought.
Dyche was getting pelters at half time, wasn't it?
And I tell you what, that night, one person reacted to that. One person took every single word of that on board. And when he got on the field of play, he showed that, I've listened to you, lads. Morgan that night, I thought Wrexham was terrific. He was playing on his own. They were basically saying, Morgan, we think you're good, but the other 10 are crap, right? Which is a bit harsh on some of them. But the message was getting through, right? And if that message didn't get through to Bakwa, McAtee, Douglas Luiz, who, again, is beginning to... When are we going to see this player that Villa was so enraptured with? It doesn't happen quickly enough with Douglas Luiz, right? These guys, I wouldn't play them in Braga. They haven't earned the right. They haven't earned the right to wear the shirt. It's not acceptable to the badge might be the defining phrase of our season, because last night was definitely 100% acceptable to the badge and to the heritage. Wrexham was not. And I think it's good that Zinchenko's time has been ended. If it has been ended, that's good, because he clearly was a dreadful piece of recruitment. McAtee, well, there we go.
Well, I think
You know
as
what I
well,
mean?
sorry, Dave, if you look at some of the players, they would fit in so many other different teams, but I just think quite a few of them, they're the wrong fit.
Yeah, I agree, Pat. Backward to me, he's just missing RDS on the end of his name, backwards, because he doesn't go forwards and do anything. You know what I mean? It's just, I look at them, you know, I mean, Ndoye yesterday, I was conflicted about Ndoye yesterday when he came on. I've been kind of pro Dan Ndoye because I thought he had a nice start to the season, and he's genuinely a really nice human being. But at Wrexham, I thought to myself, stop being a nice human being and being a punk rocker and start like chucking your weight about. And when he came on yesterday, I kind of thought, oh, I'm not sure about this.
Backwards.
And actually, he tried hard, but he's still, for a big, powerful guy, I wanted to knock somebody over. He's bigger than Igor Jesus. And Ig is doing almost more than Dan Ndoye bodily, that, you know, and I just think, I in an ideal world, I played the same 11 that played last night in Braga. That's not possible. But if we could get a settled side, we might then get a settled run and a settled identity, and it might propel us further forward.
What do you think about Brentford? Sorry, that's probably your next leading question, Ben.
No, it wasn't. I think we've gone over the hour mark, Pat. But we can talk about Brentford if you want, if everyone's got time on that. So what?
I was just going to say,
what's more important?
I just think if we end up getting beat, right, and West Ham win their next game,
then we stop looking. I don't know. Wait, so one more question. What's more important, Braga or Brentford?
Brentford.
Yeah.
Really? Because the Premier League's our bread and butter.
But it doesn't have to be one or the other. You can't say because Brentford's more important, we don't turn up at Braga. It doesn't work like that either, because again, we're back to consistency, we're back to getting some confidence in our players and in our fans, and we're back to feeding off each other. I can't agree that if we don't get anything against Brentford, it makes the point that we got yesterday worth less. It absolutely doesn't, because you were never looking at that game and thinking that it was a banker. So anything that we got yesterday, and we got a point, is absolutely a point in the bank. Brentford's going to be
that point yesterday, I think, was a great point for both teams.
Yeah, and it is a point that pays dividends later on. And you look at the Brentford game, and again, like a neutral or somebody that's tracking form or looking at tables or looking at consistency is probably not going to back us to get anything there. If we play like we did against Arsenal, and there we go with the ifs again, then we've got every right to expect to get something there. But if we don't, I actually think it makes that point that we got yesterday even more valuable.
Yeah, I agree with that.
100%. Right, we're gonna end the show. Well, it's been another great show as well. But as you know, like I said, me, Dave, and KT, we're heading to Braga. Dave's gonna get a suntan, try and get darker than me, and all that.
The only thing that gets tan for me is my teeth.
Palace and Spurs are going to get dragged into it, by the way.
Wouldn't that be lovely if Spurs got dragged in? And I tell you what, we think we've been a bit dysfunctional. Crystal Palace all of a sudden have imploded, haven't they? Their manager buried them last night, you know. So,
but Dave, it's true though. It's true what he's saying though.
And you know what? February the 1st, that's Sunday, a fortnight today. That is a game we need to target, and we need to get something out of that. Because I think they're beatable. Them, they're all over the place.
I like Glasgow, man.
Brennan has gone from a frying pan into an inferno, hasn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How does Steve be feeling now?
Here's the thing. This is the problem. Like, I don't say much, but Brennan leaving Spurs. Like, I think he loved it. That's hinting, if you know what I mean. But now he's leaving. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Like, imagine Frank going to Palace. getting sacked and going Brentford?
Very possible.
Imagine that.
Yes, they're going to
Not beyond the
Spurs.
realms of possibility. That.
That oh my days, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. But people, I'm not going to talk about that. But yeah, it's been a great show. I'd like to thank you very much to Kate. Make sure everyone follows Tricky Talk podcast as well. Her, Mollo, and Simon as well. Simon as well. So make sure everyone follows there. Thank you to the legends, Pat and Dave as well.
We sound like a double act, don't we? Pat and Dave.
Pat and
Rabbit.
You
Me.
are a double act. You don't just sound like it, you are one.
I just want to win every game.
Before we do, Justin, I've got your top on, Justin. Justin, I've got you on. This legend gave me this top. So, Justin, thank you for from Australia as well, giving me this top.
That looked like the Palace Eagle on there.
Everyone keeps saying that, but it's from Australia, Pat. It's from
Right.
Australia.
All right.
So,
Okay. Chill.
okay.
Is it an Australian team, that shirt?
Yeah, Australian team. Oh,
Was it Adelaide Eagles or something, is it? Alice Springs.
Oh, it needs to be Sydney FC. Get a bit Joe Lolly love.
Joe Lolly,
Okay,
yeah.
Lola.
Jalale.
The newly mustachioed Lolly.
Yeah, but yeah, people, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for, like I said, for the panel. Thank you for the chat as well. Like I said, Pat, and Dave, you better sort your packing out. So, but yeah,
You're in my heart, Patrick. Thursday night, mate.
Thank you, Lo.
I would say you're in my heart, but Dave's in your heart. Is that right, Pat?
I'm never in your heart, Benjamin.
I'm always in your heart. You just don't pick up your phone when
I
I
don't
win.
want to lose you.
But right, people, it's been a great show. Like I said, if you are rewatching this and if you disagree that Pat said, please get in the comment section now.
This week's competition, can you guess every single book in Pat's bookcase?
Right. Can I ask a question? Like before the match, some guy from Ballet interviewed me, and if you lot know in the chat as well, can you name the last 5 players has wore the number 9 Forest shirt? Did anyone know?
Carol Wanye. Peter with Gary Birtles.
No. Last 5. Last 5, Dave.
Keenan Davis.
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, Keenan, yeah.
Yeah.
No, Grabs was 7, wasn't he?
Lyle Taylor.
Yeah, Lyle had 9. Did he? No, Lyle wore a bigger number than that.
I don't know that he did. We had a Lyle Taylor shirt. I don't think it was number 9.
Let me check.
Well, I like that.
Yeah, I was on. You'll see me soon on the Ballet.
Oliveira.
Let me check.
Ishmael Miller.
Ishmael.
That's
Ian
a
Story.
really
Frank Wignall.
Who?
Grenville Morris.
Let me check. Wait 1 minute. Let me check.
Don't cheat. Are you cheating, Ben?
No, I'm just no.
Yeah, of course he is.
Right. So who have you named? Tabo Wanye. Who did you say? Someone said someone else.
Keenan Davis, Pat.
Keenan
said.
Davis.
Yeah, Kieran Davis.
Thank you. What number was Lyle Taylor?
Lyle Taylor, yeah. Lyle Taylor was.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, Lyle Taylor.
Thank you.
Lewis Grabban was number 7, wasn't it?
Lewis was 7. Yeah.
Lewis Grabban was number 7, yeah.
This is wrong then. No, it's not.
Nelson Oliveira, Ben.
No. So, do you want to know the results? Tyrone Wanye, Lyle Taylor, Nuno da Costa,
Wow.
Lewis Grabban, Darryl Murphy. That's 5
Nuno
players.
da Costa, 4-1 against Stoke.
You know what? When the guy came up to me, mine went blank. I couldn't believe
I
it.
nearly said Glenn Murray then as well.
No,
Glenn wore something like number 20 or something.
he wore
like
number
that.
Yeah, he wore. Yeah, I think it was. No, Earnshaw was number 10, wasn't it? Earnshaw was number 10, Dan. I'm sure it was. But, right, we're going to get going. Thank you very much. That's a good little quiz. You know, maybe Kate, you can put that in your chat as well.
Might well do.
Yeah,
I like
will do. Right, people, it's been a great show. Thank you, like I said, for Kate, Mr. Pat Lally from the Capital One Corner. and Dave as well. I'll see you in Portugal, people, on Wednesday. Me and Dave are going. He's got to babysit me. So, you know what? I think you're going to babysit me, Dave, because I'm not well. We're both not well. So,
that would be right. Hey, a bit of the Algarve there on our.
You've never been well, Benjamin.
Be all right.
Well.
Bit of Kate's company. She'll cheer us up. We'll be all right.
No, forget that. Right. Peace and love, people. Up the forest.
Give me a program back.